when you are.
Zone C captured. Opponent claimed Zone A. 2 down. 3 down.
That's a triple, baby.
That's 2.
Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, all of the gameplay that you're going to be seeing is PC lobbies. Okay, it's me playing crossplay in PC lobbies. Okay, and I just wanted to address this a comment that is a recurring comment that I get on literally every video I post. Now, everybody knows I post PS5 content. That's kind of what I do. That's where I play. That's what I enjoy. And so I get these comments, and it's not just me. It's content creators everywhere, but it's not just content creators. It's also just gamers in general are constantly hearing these comments where people will say things like, man, I wish I had it that easy in my PC lobbies. Man, I wish I could get easy lobbies like this on PC. Man, I wish gamers were this bad on PC. You get the picture. You get the idea. There's this mentality that in Destiny, the lobbies on PC are somehow sweatier and filled with more talented gamers. Now, there are some factors at play, like population size, player pools to pull from, what time of day you're on. If you're pulling from smaller pools, during the lower hours, you could have some struggles, but that is universal. That goes across all platforms. But I wanted to speak to this idea a little bit, and just to set up set the scene here. I am on a PS5, but I'm cross-playing with my friend Pureblade, so he's on PC. Now you can see, as I clearly showed the lobby here, this is every lobby. Okay. Every lobby in a 6.5 hour gaming session was me, the only console player, and then everyone else had keyboards next to their name. They're on PC. We had like a one match where we actually matched a full stack, 6-stack team, and half of them I think were on Xbox. So one game, out of a whole 6.5 hour session had some other cross players in it, but for the most part it was exclusively me with and against PC players. And so that's all the gameplay that you're seeing in this video is that. Also, the guy I'm playing with, Pureblade, you should check him out sometime. Twitch.tv/Pureblade. He's an exceptionally talented gamer and has been a friend and a partner for a while now when it comes to games. He and I used to run Apex duos on PC like all the time. That was like half of my stream content. So great guy, really talented gamer. Anyways, let's talk about these lobbies. You'll see the scoreboards. I'll show some scoreboards here, but there are, I think there's gameplay from 4 different We Ran Out of Medals in this video. Several 40 bombs, Ghost in the Night, just all that stuff. And I say this to say it doesn't feel any different to me. I'm gonna level with you. And this isn't the first time I've played in PC lobbies. Sometimes I'll plug in a controller or play MNK and hop on PC, and the lobbies they feel the same. I think at the end of the day, gamers are gamers. Okay, gamers are gamers. Whether you're on an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a freaking Atari, or a PC, a gamer is a gamer is a gamer. And I still have yet to see significant evidence that would suggest that there's a direct link between player skill and platform, where you choose to play your games. Being a more talented gamer is something that some people are just born with. It's like they play on what they've got. They've got a PlayStation at home, or they got an Xbox at home, or maybe they're on their dad's PC. Maybe they go to college and it's easier just to, with the money that they have, just to get into a console and play with their buds, or maybe all their friends are on console. I don't think there's a direct correlation between how good someone is at video games and where they choose to play their games at. I think these lobbies, for me, they felt no different than being on PS5. Were they easier lobbies? Because I hear that too. I want to be fair to the discussion. I get comments every now and then too, where people are like, oh, console's way harder, you know. Our matchmaking is strict over here and our lobby balancing is more strict. I hear it on that side of the conversation too. And I can tell you, that ain't true either. It's not easier on PC than it is on console. It's just the same. Destiny is Destiny, especially when it comes to a game like Destiny, because Destiny is not an MLG Pro Elite shooter with you know, all the different movement abilities that some other PC shooters have that are directly linked to things like keybinds and scroll wheel movements and all that kind of stuff. There are some games out there where you can just straight up be a better player on a mouse and keyboard just because of the way that the game has the you know, like technical movement abilities. Take, for example, tap strafing in Apex Legends. Can't do it on a controller. If you get in a duel against somebody, you're on a controller and they're on M&K, and they know how to do that, they're downright better than you because they can do things you cannot do. But Destiny is not like that. Destiny's not one of those games. Destiny is a pretty casual space shooter, fantasy space shooter, okay? It's a very arcadey game. And I think the playing field is very level. Different input devices, a lot of people will talk about that. They'll throw shade at not just where you play your games, but what you choose to use as an input device on that platform. A lot of people will throw shade at you because you are a controller user, or they'll call you a sweaty tryhard because you're on a mouse and keyboard. It doesn't matter in Destiny, folks. It really doesn't. There are pros and cons to each input device. The movement options that you have on a mouse and keyboard, you can never have on a controller. There are things mouse and keyboard users can do that physically a controller player cannot do. The 180 turn speeds, for example, variable sensitivity inputs. So a controller user, when you put the thumbstick all the way to the side, you will turn at the same speed every time. A mouse user has a huge mouse pad at their advantage that they can use, and variable speeds that they can choose in the moment in real time to do slow, fast, somewhere in between, and all these different varying degrees of sensitivities that they have control over in real time in the moment. You don't have that with thumbsticks. So quite simply, mouse and keyboard has an advantage in the movement department, but then people will throw shade at controllers because they have aim assist. Aim assist is a hot topic, but listen, thumbs are not precision digits, all right? We don't use our thumbs for all the precise things that we do. We use our whole hand, our whole body, our whole arm, stuff like that to do precise movements. It's not thumbs. So thumbsticks are not precision input devices. So they need things like aim assist, and aim assist is on controller or mouse and keyboard as well. Don't fool yourself; it is there too. But yes, controller has more aim assist because it needs more aim assist because shots would wildly go out of control. And it's not because the player is inaccurate; it's because the device they are using is not a precision input device. It is that simple. And so I really just want to speak to this whole conversation, and the Destiny community is very guilty of this. I see it everywhere. I see it on the forums. I see it in on Reddit. I see it on Twitter. I see it on YouTube video comment sections where people will throw shade at one another based on where they play their games and what input device they choose to use. And quite frankly, I'm going to be real with you. If you look down on another gamer for those reasons, especially with an arcadey space shooter like Destiny, you got serious friggin' problems, man. You got serious problems that you may want to address. If you are looking down on other human beings, especially fellow gamers, because of things like platform preference and input device, okay, I think that speaks to an issue with that person. Okay, to you, if you're the person throwing shade at those things, it is downright silly, petty, and laughable that you would use up mental space to actually care about where people play their games and what input device they use. So try to be better. I know it is sometimes it's something you gotta choose to rewire your brain. It is sometimes you know, as people, we are just unfortunately wired to seek out conflict, to seek out discord, and to find a reason to have an argument with somebody, and that is unfortunate. Sometimes we're wired that way, and it is a choice to try and rewire your brain and to think about things a little bit differently, and to not approach situations like that. How can I approach this conversation in such a way that makes me look better than the other person? It's something you got to choose to do. It's not easy. It does take time, so I totally understand that, but I challenge y'all to be better. choose not, and this just goes for me too, because I know that there's times even on stream sometimes I can get worked up and get a little, sometimes gamers get mouthy, and you just throw shade in the moment, like, oh, look at this guy crutching Shatter Dive, and the guy on the other side's like, oh, I really like Shatter Dive, it's a really fun space arcadey thing to do. And then they hear you say that, and they feel slighted by it, and it totally makes sense. It totally checks out. So it goes for me too. We got to be better. We got to be better. We can get annoyed at things in the game and give our feedback to the developers about how they can refine the experience in such a way that it makes a better environment. Absolutely. But throwing shade at one another is not the way to go about it. So, anyways, are the lobbies easier on PC? No. In my experience, I can't speak to your experience. I can only speak to my experience. In my experience, they're not easier. They really aren't even all that different. Some people say they're not easier, they're just different. I didn't even feel like they were really that different. I think the sandbox, especially right now in the current season, it looks very similar from PC to console. And, in previous seasons, the sandbox has actually looked dramatically different, like there was the spare rations meta. There were a lot more options on PC, and the meta was a little bit more varied at that time, but on console it was just spare ration, spare bender, spare bender, spare bender. But on PC, things like Ace of Spades really shined back then. So there are some sandboxes where the metas look different. In the current one, they don't even really look that different. They play pretty much the same, and that was a really interesting thing to experience. But anyways, that is my take on that whole conversation. By the way, if you're curious about the guns in the gameplay, the sidearm is the Peace Bond, the new Iron Banner sidearm. I've got about 1,200 kills in that thing so far in just the last few days. I love it so much. The sniper rifle was the Far Future Season of the Chosen sniper rifle from the Battlegrounds activity. Can also be dropped in Presage. And then the pulse rifle was the third Axiom, which is an adaptive frame energy pulse rifle that drops from strikes randomly. So hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary. Please feel free to add your commentary as well in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning into the video. Feel free to drop a like on it if you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Be warm and well fed, my friends. And I hope to catch you in the Crucible.